Hey there, and welcome back to the video series about the RESTful API. And in the previous video we created the product definition or the product schema that will define our product in our RESTful API. And as I said before, it could be anything that you want to save in your database, but in this case we're just saving a product. So before we start coding the different routes, I just want to talk briefly about the CRUD operations and the HTTP methods, because we're going to be implementing all the CRUD operations. So we have create and read and update and delete. And how does that relate to HTTP? Because we need somehow to use some of these HTTP methods to actually implement this. And if we take a look at which methods we're going to be using, we can see that for the create route there, where we are creating products, we will be using post. And for the read, it is a get method, and the update, it is put, and delete is delete. So this is the mapping that we will be using. So whenever we make a new route, I will type the HTTP methods and not create and read. So let's see a bit more detailed overview of this. If we have the CRUD and HTTP methods, now we also have the route specified here, and we can see we got /API in front of everything. That is to indicate that we are working with an API here. And then usually we specify the domain object, and in our case it is the product. So for the post, for the create, we just specify /products, and then we need to include the request body. So we need to tell the API that we want it to create this product, and we specify this using post and also using our request body. So we will pass along the actual product that we want to create in the body. Then we have the get, and the get will have two different routes. The first route is a general route that will return all of the products in the database. So we just have /products, and that looks identical to the post, but we're using get for the read operation here. So that is the first one. The second read route here will be a more specific one, where we also include the ID of the product. So using this route, we can actually get a specific product out from the database. Next one is update, and we'll be using put, the HTTP method put, and looks a bit like the get, that we also specify the ID, but the difference here is that we also include the request body. So as with the create, we also include the body, the data that we want to be updated into the database. And I'm gonna explain more about the post and the put just in a minute. The last one, the delete, will be using the delete HTTP method, and we will pass along the ID, because we don't really need anything more than the ID to tell to let the database know that it should delete this product. So we are specifying the ID in the URL and using the delete HTTP method. If we take a look at the two routes that require us to pass along some data, if we take a look at the post first, we can see that we need to pass along a request body, and we will pass this along as a JSON object. So this is the actual data that we want to be saved in the database. So we have the same properties as we defined in the model just before with Mongoose. So we have name and description, price, and we have our in stock, that is true. So we're going to send this with the request and let the database know and the API know that we want to save this in the database. The update that uses put will work pretty much the same way. We need to also include the ID of the product that we want to update, and then we need to include the request body, again as JSON, and then the updated data that we want to be saved in the database. Okay, so that is pretty much the overview of the different routes that we will be developing in this API. So stay tuned for the next video, where we will start to actually code it. Bye bye.